Hello everyone, welcome to another set of episode talks, boys. Yes, indeed. You thought Born Again was the only thing I was gonna do? God, no. Technically, I also had this plan for Ironheart, but then, you know, it released in like 2 batches, so that was never going to happen. But for Peacemaker Season 2, of course I'm gonna do episode talks. Man, am I excited to get back into this. However, I will say this before we get started. The fact that I hate these decade-long, at least that is what it feels like breaks between seasons. It feels so long ago since season 1 of Peacemaker came out. I don't even remember that season, to be honest. Like, I don't really remember a lot of it outside of, you know, the Justice League scene. Outside that one, I don't really remember any of it. Speaking of which, let's just get started with that part then. Yeah, that has been retconned in this new season with the fact that we get basically a previously on, but there's a bunch of new stuff. And for example, like the Aquaman jokes were instead about Green Lantern, and also the Justice League is the Justice Gang, and also Supergirl's there? What? Why is Supergirl part of the Justice Gang? Like, okay, sure. I mean, we have like Superman, Supergirl, and then like the others. So, cool. However, that still doesn't work in my head because I'm like, I need an actual explanation how this happened. And the show doesn't give you that. The show is not going to give you that. They're just going to retcon the first season's like Justice League scene and move on like it never happened in that sense. So I have my own headcanon, and that is basically what I like to call Crisis on Infinite Earths, boys. Because in the Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover, we have Ezra Miller's The Flash, and after the crossover, you can see that universes have changed. For example, Earth 2 is not the Earth 2 from Flash. It is the Earth 2 that contains Stargirl, for example. Like, that Earth is just entirely changed. So basically, after Peacemaker Season 1, we have Crisis on Infinite Earths, and then we have Creature Commandos. Not Peacemaker Season 2, but Creature Commandos, Superman, and then Peacemaker Season 2 in that sense. Anyway, this episode starts off about 6 months before the season premiere, I guess you could say, and Eagle wakes up Chris. He doesn't want to get up. Also, it's too cold outside, so he lets Eagle fly in the quantum chamber. And he sees a guy, and he's like, hey, man. And the dude doesn't say hi, and that was a joke that was actually, I think, in the trailer, if I remember correctly, because later on, he's like, that guy's a prick because he never says hi. That kind of stuff. So Eagle wants to go through another door, and then Peacemaker sees a bunch of, like, Peacemaker helmets, like, ooh, what is this? So he puts in his code to that door, and it works. So the door opens up, he goes inside, he sees his dad, which according to the previously on is dead. Like I said, don't really fully remember Peacemaker Season 1. But anyway, his dad is there. Then he runs out to close the door. Like, he just gets scared immediately. Then afterwards, we jump to about 6 months later, and Leota picks up Peacemaker, and they are going to a place where Peacemaker is gonna have an interview to join the Justice Gang. And also, he is a bit curious about Harcourt, but he wants to be a real superhero. That is what he wants to be. And to be honest, he might have what it takes outside of, you know, the killing stuff. So they arrive, and then a bunny girl walks out, which I don't know who you are. Apparently her name is White Rabbit. It's actually a character from the comic books, but White Rabbit. So then Peacemaker goes in and he gets interviewed. However, the thing is that the mic is kind of broken, so when you turn it off, it actually still keeps it on. It's always on in that sense. So basically, they ask Peacemaker a question, turn off the mic, and then basically talk bad about him. However, he can hear all that stuff. Also, Hawkgirl has a big butt, which, hey, baby. But after a while of the interview just going nowhere in that sense, he's like, am I supposed to be able to hear you guys? And then they're like, oh, no. But that other girl, the White Rabbit one, I was talking about how you could see her. Well, okay, we're just not going to talk about that on this channel. But anyway, I was talking bad about her, too. And all the other ones. Oh, no. Oh, and also, this is all actually the first official instance of Sean Gunn playing Maxwell Lord, because he had a little cameo in Superman, but like it wasn't really enough. But now we get to see more of him, and I don't know what to think about it. I don't even know how big of a character Maxwell Lord is, but I feel like maybe Maxwell Lord fans are gonna be a little bit upset by the casting, but I don't know. But anyway, when they turn back to Peacemaker, he's gone angry. Also, Harcourt can't get a job at any intelligence agencies, but it's a long word, because of the fact that apparently she is suffering from toxic masculinity. And it's like, ah, boy. But they actually play it as a joke in that sense. They're not making a statement about how men are toxic masculinity and stuff like that. It's just basically she has anger issues. I don't know why they didn't just say that, but they should have just said she has anger issues, because afterwards she gets into her car and basically breaks her hand on the dashboard. Then afterwards Peacemaker goes over to her and they have a little bit of a talk. Apparently they had a good time together, but that was a one-time only thing, sadly enough. So then Chris goes home. He is a little bit sad. He gets a whole party. that I'm not gonna talk about anymore, and afterwards he opens up the door to the quantum chamber. At which point, while this is happening, Adrian also calls John about owl facts because, I don't know, he needs contact with other people, I guess. I don't know. But then Argus detects a anomaly, I guess you could say, at Peacemaker's house, and it's kind of like that thing that they detected from Superman, which is the reference to Superman. But basically, the pocket universe, when Peacemaker opens the door, they can detect it. Also, Rick Flag Sr. is the head of Argus. So then John goes to the house and he, like, looks around, sees a bunch of naked people, and then afterwards he sees Peacemaker standing at that door. However, he lies to Argus about, you know, what Peacemaker is doing there. And also, Rick Flag wants to have someone else overseeing John because he doesn't trust John. Alright, cool. But anyway, Peacemaker then goes through the door. He walks over to the other universe, I guess, puts in the door code, opens the door, goes through, and then he goes outside and he sees his brother alive, who was actually dead in his universe, and then his dad is there too, so they have a little bit of a family time, family fun. Meanwhile, Harcourt, back in our universe, gets into a bar fight, and John also goes over to Leota in order to ask what to do about Peacemaker, because of the fact that he doesn't want to betray Peacemaker, but he also wants to know what Peacemaker is up to. So Leota's like, okay, fine, I'm gonna ask him, because that is the reason why he was here. So then afterwards, the brother and the dad go to bed, and then Peacemaker, I guess, goes to his room or whatever, and then the other Peacemaker comes home. So they have a little bit of a fight. Well, it's a one-sided fight. Our Peacemaker just tries to leave as fast as possible, but that Peacemaker's not making it easy and keeps attacking him. So then afterwards, they are in the quantum chamber, and the attacks keep happening until eventually Peacemaker activates the jetpack right before he's about to be killed, the other Peacemaker's jetpack, and he flies up to a spike, so he's sadly enough dead. So yeah, that's a way to end the first episode, and I very much enjoyed this first episode. Outside of, you know, a bit of confusion about, like, what happened last season again, and also, who are you people? Because I completely forgot. This is why you should not have 3 years between seasons, okay? This is why you should have yearly seasons, for crying out loud. If it's 3 years, you forget too much. But I'm gonna end it here, because I need to edit this, and I have an appointment soon. So, let me know what you guys thought about Peacemaker Season 2, Episode 1 in the comment section down below. And with that being said, thank you all so very much for watching, and I hope you guys have enjoyed. And if you did, please like button, subscribe if you're new, if you're not already, turn notification, don't forget to check out the Let's Play channel, link in the description and at the end of the video. And I'll see you guys next week, hopefully for another Peacemaker episode. Bye!